Hello everybody and welcome, I am Boom, and today we're gonna see my water bottle is crack-a-lackin' again. We're gonna see if we can beat the game Pokemon HeartGold with an Espeon and Umbreon only. Umbreon is a defensively tanky Pokemon in both defense and special defense. Its HP isn't bad, and its attack and speed are at least passable in comparison to some of the other Pokemon that we've used. The level up moveset is, well, it's honestly not super great, and neither are the TMs we can learn. But at the very least, we can be a defensive wall and learn a few moves for type coverage, but mostly we're going to be relying on the few dark type moves that we can learn. Umbreon will be our only Pokemon until right around Gym 4, where we can get an Eevee and eventually evolve it into Espeon. Normally, with these type of runs, I typically try to evolve the Pokemon before I add them to the team. However, Eevee's evolution is based off of friendship, and if I just went and gave it haircuts daily, then I would probably never actually get to use an Espeon. Espeon is a really good special attacker with a solid special defense and decent speed. Its stats are pretty lackluster, but that's only in attack, defense, and HP. But with any luck, we'll be able to hit hard, we'll be able to hit fast, and knock out whoever we're against. The level up moveset for Espeon is okay enough, but honestly, as long as we have Psychic and probably Shadow Ball, we'll have the main moves that we need. We name ourselves Spooky, cause why not, and we go ahead and grab our Umbreon. Our Umbreon has a hasty nature, which means higher speed and lower defense. Honestly, not much of a problem since our defense is so good to begin with. This will likely just make it so we can outspeed a couple things and land a few hits. We'll go through the beginning of the game, and then all too soon, it's time for us to go ahead and fight the rival for the first time. We went ahead and gave the rival Cyndaquil because at the end of the day, it won't matter too much. The rival isn't nearly as consistent at this one as he was in the first game, but we'll make sure to cover those different fights as they come up. With the first rival fight, we can actually win this pretty easily. Granted, a crit helped to make that quicker, but it's simple enough. Now, we do name the passerby boy Mariah. Now, hear me out. I know that's a girl's name, but Mariah Carey is defrosting as we speak. Anyway, the beginning of the game isn't too much trouble, and while we're busy traveling, I wanted to say, if you like this kind of content, make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the channel and like the video. It helps get it to other people out there, and at the time of writing this, we're sitting at 1,012 subscribers, and we're working on watch hours. I know we're not quite there yet, by the way, but I did want to mention for these particular games, I don't cover too many of the rocket battles. Just like in Pokemon Fire Red, we'll primarily be covering the most important ones, and honestly, even the important ones are kind of a joke. But we have a lot of battles to get through between now and then, and more importantly, we have a gym leader to go against. For the most part, the level curve in this game is a bit atrocious, so it shouldn't be too hard to be around the same level, if not higher than what most of the gym leaders will be as we get to them, even with having 2 Pokemon to divvy up the EXP. But it's time to fight Falkner. Falkner starts with Pidgey, and we open with Tackle, taking it to half, and then another Tackle takes it out. The Pidgeotto, we try to Sand Attack, forgetting it has Keen Eye. We start using a few Tail Whips as it hits us, and then after 3 defense drops, we go on the offensive, doing about a third. We take it to Yellow, it takes us to 10 HP, but we managed to take it out, and that's that. I will not lie, it did take 2 attempts due to Sand Attack, but that's neither here nor there. Thankfully, though, we're getting close to having access to some Dark-type moves, which will actually be needed when we go against the rival because of his Ghost-type. From the second battle on, he actually has a Ghastly that he slowly evolves, and we can't exactly tackle that. After getting to Azalea, freeing some Slowpokes, and getting through the Spider Puzzle, it's time to fight Bugsy. He has a Scyther that hits like a truck, so I'm not entirely sure how this battle will go, but only one way to find out. First up, Bugsy sends out Scyther, and we get hit with Leer. We use Sand Attack, then Scyther absolutely wrecks us with U-Turn, as we get a critical hit with Pursuit. As the Metapod is out, we trade attacks back and forth, and the Metapod takes us to 4 HP before we take it out. Unfortunately, the Scyther is then able to go ahead and finish the job with a quick attack. So, I'm going to go ahead and go to the rival fight and see how that treats us. It should give us at least another level, and that may make it easier to fight Bugsy. At the beginning of the game, level 15 to 18, that 3-level gap is huge. But once you get to the late game, level 52 to 55 isn't quite as much, if that makes sense. So I want to get the extra levels while we can. Hopefully we can beat the rival. The rival starts with Ghastly, and we use Pursuit to make sure we can actually, hit it and take it down in one shot. Next up is Zubat, and we use Pursuit, taking it below half. Supersonic connects, and then we smack ourselves. Leech Life thankfully doesn't do much, and then the next turn we can take it out. Last up is Quilava, and we use Pursuit, doing about a fourth. It begins using Smokescreen, and the hits against it are becoming few and far between, unfortunately. After the Smokescreens, though, it just begins using Leer over and over, but never actually attacks. So despite our frequent missing, we do hit it enough to at least take it out. Back to Bugsy. With Scyther, we use Sand Attack, hoping to cause at least a little bit of trouble as it uses Focus Energy. Leer connects, and we use Pursuit for decent enough damage. Another Leer connects, and we take it to about half. Then we get hit to 12 HP with U-Turn, but we take it down with Pursuit on the switch out. Metapod is out, and we use Sand Attack to make sure a few tackles miss, and then we take it to red with Pursuit. We can then take it out, leveling up. Last up is Kakuna, and we take it to a little below half, and then take it down to win the battle with not much HP to spare. After that, it's time to go ahead and go through the route through the forest, and then the route above. To get to Eevee, we're going to have one more gym to get through. Now, thankfully, Umbreon isn't a bad Pokemon by any means, so I feel alright about our chances as we get to Whitney. Since we have a little bit of travel on the way, I want to make sure that we go ahead and do a little bit of leveling up. With Whitney being the one that we are about to go against, I may feel okay about it, but we both know how that fight can go sometimes. Roll footage. Whitney first starts with Clefairy, and we open with Whitney first starts with Clefairy, and we take it to half as it only uses Double Slap. We get attracted, but we can thankfully take it out next turn. Miltank is next. We use Sand Attack, hoping to avoid rollout building too much strength. Stomp does connect, but it misses Attract. After that, we use a few Tail Whips to make it easier to take down. After 6 Tail Whips and only getting punished by Attraction, we go ahead and go on the offensive. We use Headbutt, taking it to red as Stomp connects, and then Whitney heals up, and we stay immobilized, but then we can take it down the next turn for a fairly simple battle. That was a lot better than I thought it was going to be honest. Aside from a bit of travel ahead, we can go ahead and finally grab our second and final team member. It's an Eevee. I'll be using it as an Eevee until we can evolve it into Espeon. Like I was saying at the beginning, it takes a decent bit of time to get friendship up appropriately, but we'll manage. In no time, we go ahead, scare some pooches, and then it's time for us to fight Morty, who absolutely should have a Mischievous, but it's fine. And while writing this, I realized I have a rival fight to do that I had completely forgotten about. Let's cover that real quick. Ghastly is first, so we swap over to Umbreon as Ghastly uses Curse, and then we take it out with Pursuit. We swap over to Eevee when Magnemite is out, and then we swap back to Umbreon as it uses Supersonic. We use Pursuit for a bit of damage as it uses Thunder Wave. After that, we smack ourselves, and then it uses Sonic Boom, and we take it to red as it knocks us out. We go back to Eevee and Quick Attack for a bit of damage as Supersonic connects, then we take it out. Next up is Zubat, and we continue with Quick Attack, taking it to half as Wing Attack connects. We smack ourselves and get taken to 29 HP before taking it down. Last up is Quilava, and we take it below half with a crit as Smokescreen connects and then goes to red. Thankfully, the Smokescreen doesn't seem to be affecting us too much, and we take it down a few turns later. Now it's time to face Morty. Ghastly is first, and we use Bite to take it down in one go. Next up is Haunter, and we get put to sleep. Dream Eater connects, and we stay asleep for a few too many turns for my liking. We wake up with only 12 HP remaining, and then knock it out. Gengar is out, and it uses Mean Look, and we take it to about half as the berry activates, and then it uses Hypnosis, and then after that, a Sucker Punch takes us out. We send out Umbreon, and it uses Mean Look, and we swap to Pursuit, taking it to red, and then Morty heals up as we take it to around half. Hypnosis misses, and we take it to red again, and Shadow Ball doesn't do much, and then we take it out. Finally, it's Haunter, and we take it down in one shot to win the battle and the badge. Now that 4 gym leaders are down and taken care of, we're basically in the middle section of the game, or at least the main part of the middle section of the game. This part of the game opens up and we can go to the lighthouse, or go to Cyanwood, or go fight Price. Honestly, I don't think we're ready for Jasmine or Chuck. Chuck has fighting types, and until Eevee evolves into Espeon, both of our Pokemon are weak to fighting types. While Dynamic Punch isn't the most effective move, all Chuck has to do is put us to sleep or double team, and I imagine we'd fall pretty quickly afterwards. Then with Jasmine, we don't actually have any moves that are actually effective against her. Pair that with the fact that both of her Magnemite like to use Thunder Wave, and we don't have any paralysis curing berries, so Price is first. But first, we have to watch Lance use his Dragonite to murder a man, go through Rocket Hideout, knock out some electrodes, and then it's time to fight Price. Also, during the time of travel, we do spend a few days getting Eevee daily haircuts to boost its friendship, and by the time we get to Price, we have an Espeon, which is great. The only issue is it evolves so late it doesn't know any psychic moves, and probably won't until it gets to level 65 due to the fact that it evolved at that slightly later level, and as far as I remember, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, you cannot get the TM for Psychic until you get to Kanto. Price starts with Seal, and we open with Umbreon and use Feint Attack, taking it to half. Icy Wind hits, and then the next turn we can take it down. Next up is Piloswine, and we use Feint Attack for a little as Ice Fang connects. It sets up Hail as we continue to chip away at it, and we can take some decent hits as time goes on. We take it to a Sliver, and it takes us out as we send out Espeon. Price heals, and we just begin using Shadow Ball until we take it out. Last is Dugong, and we continue with Shadow Ball, lowering its special, and eventually taking it out to win the battle. Alright, let's go back to Cyanwood, and hopefully an easy enough battle. Even without psychic moves, we'll at least be able to resist the fighting moves, so let's see what happens. Chuck starts with Primate, and we start with Umbreon as it uses Double Team. The good news is, even though Feint Attack isn't doing much, it can't miss. We take it to red with a few attacks, and then Chuck heals up as we nail it with a crit and then take it down. Next up is Poliwrath, and we're not doing too much damage, but neither is it. We take it to half with a crit and use Tail Whip against my better judgment, and it takes us to 11 HP with Focus Punch, and then the berry takes it to green as it takes us out. We swap to Espeon, and Body Slam is doing decent damage, but we use Shadow Ball to take it out and win another gym battle. Alright, I doubt we're going to be beating Jasmine, but I guess there's only one way to find out. Jasmine starts with Magnemite, and we open with Espeon. Shadow Ball does about half as Thunder Wave connects, and Synchronize paralyzes it, and we take it down. The next Magnemite hits with Thunderbolt, and we stay paralyzed, then getting hit with a crit as we take it to half. Another Thunderbolt finishes us off, because it's also a crit. We send out Umbreon, using Feint Attack and taking it down. Last up is Steelix, and we use Feint Attack for barely a sliver, as Iron Tail does good damage. We swap to Sand Attack to see if we can at least try to soften it up a little before attacking as best as we can. Ultimately, it does end up taking us down, so we need to change our strategy. But unfortunately, even if we try to save the Espeon until Steelix, the end result is the same. We're just not doing enough damage at this level, and the paralysis is actually causing a lot of issues for us as well. So for the first time in this challenge, we are going to have to go ahead and level up. Everything against the first two Magnemites is essentially going to be the same. The biggest difference is that we can get to Steelix with full health with our Espeon. After that, we use Shadow Ball against Steelix as it misses. Then it sets up Sandstorm and we get 2 defense drops. Jasmine Hyper Potions up, but by now, Shadow Ball has actually gained some strength, so we can take it down with a few more attacks to win the badge. Maybe this would have been possible at a lower level if we just got consistent defense drops, but I don't think so. Alright though, that is 7 badges down, and surely Team Rocket won't be taking over a radio station that will prevent us from getting to the 8th badge. Oh, that's exactly what they do? Yeah, that's fair. There's really only one difficult fight that'll be ahead of us, and that's Archer, mostly because he has a few dark types, but we have some levels on him. Most likely Espeon won't be seeing too much of this battle, but he sends out Houndour, and we use Umbreon, and hit it with Assurance as he uses Fire Fang. We then take it to red and knock it out with a Headbutt as the Houndoom comes out. We use Headbutt, and it's still just using Fire Fang as we take it out with 71 HP remaining. Coughing is last, so we get poisoned off Sludge and knocked out, but since his last Pokemon is a poison type, Espeon cleans up with a quick Shadow Ball to win us probably the only really important Rocket Battle. There are a couple Proton fights, but one of them is just 5 Coughings and a Wheezing that all like to use Self-Destruct, and I believe 2 of them did, but given our level and bulky defense, we just kind of shrugged it off and kept moving. With that out of the way, we have a little bit of travel to go, and thankfully the rest of the game is kind of a battle royale. We don't have any more rocket plot lines, so we're essentially able to do battles, except now I just remembered I have to do the Whirl Islands. In my opinion, the Burnt Tower is a lot easier to navigate, so I don't know why I keep coming back to SoulSilver. But I haven't really talked about Umbreon and Espeon in this run. In Fire Red, they sweep through the game pretty easily. If you are curious, I did a playthrough with almost every evolution. The only ones I haven't done, if I am remembering correctly, is Sylveon and Leafeon. In this game, though, if Espeon had evolved earlier, I think it would be a lot easier. Not having any access to Psychic moves, since you can't find the TM for it till Kanto, makes this a lot more difficult than it needs to be. Then with Umbreon, it's not the best attacker, but it's still able to be a good wall for just about anything that you go up against. Now, as we're getting closer to the 8th gym, I'm kind of curious how this is going to go. This has been a roadblock for us to get past sometimes, but I also haven't got to use 2 Pokemon for a good while, and I think that's going to make this a lot easier for us. Clair first sends out Gyarados, and we start with Espeon, since, again, it's not much of a physical attacker. We open with Shadow Ball, taking about a quarter health, and Bite does a lot of damage, so we swap to Umbreon. We shrug off a Bite and use Assurance, taking it to right around a quarter, as Dragon Breath does decent damage, and then we knock it out. Dragonair is next, so we swap back to Espeon, using Shadow Ball to take it below half as Thunder Wave connects. Synchronize is nice, but it has Shed Skin, so it's definitely not reliable, but we do take it down after an Aqua Tail. Kingdra comes out, and Dragon Pulse takes us to 3 HP as we fire off a decent Shadow Ball before doing a quick attack for at least ping damage. It misses Hydro Pump, so we can land another quick attack before going down. We send out Umbreon, using Feint Attack as he uses Smokescreen, and another Feint Attack takes it to its liver. Then she heals up. We continue with Feint Attack, hoping for a crit that we get. Hydro Pump takes us to 31 HP, and we knock it out. The next Dragonair is out, and we use Headbutt, hoping for a flinch, and it does paralyze us. Dragon Pulse takes us to 10 HP, and we take it to red. And then Clair heals again, and we get taken out by Slam. About 5 attempts in, we swap our strategy a little bit. We send out Espeon, and then immediately swap to Umbreon. Taking down Gyarados, we use Headbutt first for a flinch, and then take it to yellow to knock it out. Dragonair is next, and we repeat the Headbutt strat, hoping for that flinch, which we get, and then take it to red. That's fine if Clair heals now on one of her weaker Pokemon and earlier in the battle, and we trade some attacks back and forth, but we do knock it out. With Kingdra, it takes us to 5 HP with Hydro Pump, and we land a soft Headbutt before going down. Espeon takes it below half, lowers its special, and then takes it to red as Hydro Pump takes us to 26 HP before we take it down. On the last Dragonair, we take it to half, get brought to 1 HP, but then manage to attack first, knocking it out and winning the battle. After that, we have some Kimono girls to fight, a legendary Burb whose wing hands are rated E for everyone, and then finally make our way through the Elite Four. I'm getting nervous, because now I just remembered the last time playing this game for a challenge, Misty disappeared from the cape entirely. I'm hoping that was just a one-off situation, but hey, who knows, maybe Umbreon and Espeon are just going to be horrible and we won't even make it past the Elite Four. You never know. Before we get to them though, we have one more fight to cover. Okay, I guess if I'm being 100% truthful, there is a kinda secret fight in Mount Moon you could go to, but that's a little bit more traveling than what I try to do for the back half of the game. Mariah, for the last time, sends out Sneasel, and we open with Headbutt to take it below half as Icy Wind misses, and then it goes down. Magneton is out, and we use Feint Attack, taking not a lot of health as it uses Thunder Wave, but Synchronize kicks in. We swap to Espeon on the full para and use Shadow Ball for solid damage as it uses Thunder Wave again before going down. Haunter is next, and we get hit with Confuse Ray, but we use Shadow Ball to knock it out. Golbat is out, and it uses Bite, but we snap out of Confusion and take it to below half as another Confuse Ray connects, and we take it down. Typhlosion is up, and we swap over to Umbreon, and Lava Plume does a little, as we headbutt for a little. We swap to Feint Attack, taking it to low yellow, and then given Lava Plume hitting, we swap to Assurance for the extra damage. But we get taken to 17 HP before going to Espeon and knocking it out. Last up is Kadabra, and it uses Disable on Quick Attack, which is totally fine, because a Shadow Ball takes it out, and now it's time to go into the Elite Four. Will is first of the Elite Four, and we send out Umbreon for Xatu and open with Feint Attack, taking it to red as Confuse Ray connects. We hit ourselves, and it fails its attack before we snap out of Confusion and take it out. Next out is Exeggutor, and we swap to Espeon with Shadow Ball, taking it out. Another Xatu is out, and we swap back to Umbreon using Feint Attack to take it to red as the berry activates. And then it goes down after an Aerial Ace. Jinx is up, and we continue with Feint Attack, taking it out in one shot. Last up is Slowbro, and Assurance doesn't do quite half as it uses Amnesia. Feint Attack takes it to red as it uses Curse, and Will heals up. After that, it doesn't really do much, so we just end up taking it out after a few more attacks. Next up is Koga, and I'm gonna be honest, this battle is awful. We can get past the Ariados without too much of a problem, but for whatever reason, it just thinks to use Toxic Spikes twice. So what'll happen is that we end up whittling away at it, but then it takes down whatever Pokemon we have out, so we naturally have to swap to our next Pokemon, immediately get Toxic, and then just can't take out the rest of his team in enough time. This actually ends up being the reason that we can't get past this for a long time. At level 60, though, Ariados still isn't a one-shot. Fortress, we basically just have to wail on it as best as we can in between Protects, Toxic Spikes, and Swifts. Then it finally goes down to Bite. Muck is next, and we just continue with attacking, getting a crit to take it to red and then knock it out. Crobat is out, and Shadow Ball connects for solid damage as it uses Double Team. Bite takes it below half, and then we can take it out. Venomoth is last, and Shadow Ball takes it to yellow. It misses, and then we finally take it out to win the battle. I never thought Koga, of all trainers, would be the one to give us trouble, but it is what it is. Now we can go on to the third trainer, Bruno, and without Psychic, I don't think it'll be too difficult, but Psychic would have made this so much easier. Hitmontop is his first Pokemon, and Shadow Ball connects to take it below half, as Counter can't do much and we take it out. Onix is next, and Shadow Ball knocks it out in one shot. Machamp comes out, and we take it to about half, as Revenge does a good chunk of damage. We do Quick Attack, so Revenge won't do as much and activate the berry. We get taken to 31 HP, then go for Shadow Ball, taking it to what I have to imagine is 1 HP before going down. The Machamp heals, and we take it below half, flinch it on another, and then knock it out. Hitmonlee is next and uses Swagger, which is fine with me as we take it down. Thanks to the attack boost, well, we actually end up hitting ourselves, get hit with Ice Punch, and then get frozen. Then we get wailed on for a little while. Then we thaw out, and due to the boosted attack, take it to a sliver as Fire Punch connects and Bruno full restores, but then we can take it back to red and knock it out. Next up is Karen, and I'm not gonna lie, I had it in my mind that we were fighting Agatha, and I know why, but I don't know why. However, it's the Battle of the Umbreons, and we're essentially just beating on it as best we can, because it can't do very much to us either. Due to the heal up, it actually takes a while, but she actually switches to Gengar, and we take it to 1 HP as it uses Spite, and then we knock it out. Houndoom is out, and we use Headbutt to do about a third, and then take it to red as the berry activates. Flamethrower does solid damage, and then we Feint Attack to take it out with a crit. Vileplume is next, and we swap to Espeon, using Shadow Ball and taking it below half as it uses Stun Spore, and then we knock it out. Umbreon is back out on the field, and we use Quick Attack to chip away at it, getting hit with Feint Attack as it uses Double Team. We just keep chipping away at it as best as we can until it takes us down, but it doesn't have too much health. Swapping back to our Umbreon, we can then take it out. Murkrow is last. We use Feint Attack, taking about a third as it uses Pluck. Now it's just a race to the finish, and Pluck takes us to 42 HP. And then Karen heals. We take it back to yellow as Pluck takes us to 20 HP, and then we can knock it out. Lance is the last of the Elite Four. Let's see how we do. Gyarados is first, and we start with Espeon, so our attack doesn't get lowered as we use Shadow Ball, and it uses Waterfall. Shadow Ball takes it to yellow, and another Waterfall takes us to yellow as Lance heals up. Shadow Ball takes it back to yellow when we get knocked out. We swap over to Umbreon and knock it out, but then Dragonite is next, and we do a little tiny bit with Feint Attack as it uses Safeguard, taking it below half as the berry activates, and then it goes on its Outrage Rampage. We can get it to red, but we get knocked out pretty easy. Unfortunately, we're at a point again where we have no way to get past this aside from just trying to brute force it. So we do end up having to level up once more because Dragonite's just able to do too much damage to us. And you not only have one that you're dealing with, you have three. One is a much higher level than the rest, however, they're all very much a threat. At level 70, now that we finally have Psychic added to our arsenal and we can tank a few more hits, it's time for us to try again. Gyarados is first, and since we're relying on our special, we send out Espeon and we use Psychic to take it to red as Waterfall connects and then Lance heals up. Another Psychic takes it back to red and then we knock it out with Shadow Ball. Aerodactyl's next, so we swap to Umbreon, using Feint Attack to take it to about half as Rock Slide connects and then we can take it down. Dragonite is next, and we use Feint Attack, taking it to not quite half as it uses Safeguard, and another Feint Attack takes it to below half as the berry activates. Outrage hits us hard, and we take it to yellow as Outrage continues to hit, and then we take it out. The next Dragonite is out, and we take it to not quite half as we swap to Espeon upon a Dragon Tail hitting, and Espeon takes it out. Next up is Charizard, and Psychic takes it to red as Shadow Claw does solid damage, and then Lance heals again. After that, we can take it down. After another heal up, his final Dragonite is out, and we can take it to red as Dragon Rush takes us all the way down to 1 HP, and then Lance heals up, but we can take it out before it can take us out, winning the battle and the run. Now, if you've played through these games before, there's 2 sets of credits, but you know that the run is technically won, but it's also far from over. The post-game has the whole Kanto region to go through. For the most part, the gym leaders are pretty easy, and this time Misty didn't disappear from us, so we go through a lot of the game. I'm not going to cover the gym leaders except for Blue, because he is the only one that's technically worth it because he has such a diverse team. Executor is first, and Shadow Ball takes it out in one shot. Next up is Rhydon, and we use Psychic to take it out in one go. Then it's out to Machamp, who suffers the same fate. Arcanine comes out, and we swap to Umbreon, as Feint Attack does a little. Flare Blitz hits hard with a crit, and we swap back to Espeon as another Flare Blitz connects, and we take it out with Psychic. Gyarados comes out, and we take it to yellow, as it uses Dragon Dance, and Blue heals, and so do we with Morning Sun. Psychic takes it to yellow, and then it goes down. Last is his Pidgeon, and we use Psychic to take it to yellow as the berry activates. Then we spend a few turns switching back to our Pokemon because it's using Whirlwind in return. Honestly, this probably just made the battle harder for me, so I didn't bother restarting and dropping off all the Pokemon at the Poke Center. We have one more fight to go, though, and it's definitely a tough one. Pokemon Trainer Red. Red starts with Pikachu when we open with Espeon. We use Psychic that takes it to red as Volt Tackle connects, and immediately one-shots us, but I guess it knocks itself out, so that's cool. We go to Umbreon as Snorlax comes out, and we barely touch it as Blizzard does a decent bit of damage. We do try to flinch it with Headbutt, but then get frozen with Blizzard. And then this time we stay frozen for far too many turns and eventually fall. This takes a lot of attempts, and it does take us all the way to level 100. We need some additional held items, and while our moveset isn't changing, we just need the extra power. At level 100 with both of them, we can take Pikachu down with one Psychic, and the crit didn't matter. Leftovers negates the hail damage, and with Snorlax, we send out Umbreon, who likes to get frozen literally every other attempt. However, we can take a good chunk of its health away with Feint Attack, as Umbreon also has leftovers because there's 2 in the game, and we use Moonlight when our health falls too low. Red heals up, and it's back to taking small chunks of health before it finally goes down. Blastoise is out, and we use Psychic to take it below half and lower its special, and then we can take it out. Charizard is next, so we swap back to Umbreon as Moonlight heals up. Flare Blitz connects, and we do some damage with Feint Attack, using Moonlight whenever we're able to. It does get healed up, but we're taking a good chunk of its health out, which I'm not complaining about. It does get healed up, and eventually we do have to end up swapping back to Espeon after we get taken out, and we can finish it off. Next is Venusaur, and we use the Psychic to take it down in one shot. And then Lapras, we take it to exactly half as Blizzard lands hard for a critical hit. We use another Psychic, and that takes it down to win the run. Hope you enjoyed this run, because I definitely did. I really enjoy the evolutions as a whole, though admittedly Sylveon is my favorite. I've started on next week's Giratina run because I definitely miscounted the amount of uploads I'd have in October. Now, if I manage to finish another spooky run by then, I'd like to save Giratina for Halloween itself, but if I can't, it's fine. I have other ideas of Pokemon that I can use that'll still be spooky enough. For now, though, I gotta record this, get ready for work, and then hopefully get some editing done this evening. In the meantime, though, if you liked the video, even if you didn't like the video, hit the like and subscribe button, because it really does help me out. And until next time, everybody, peace out. And if you could think of any Pokemon runs that you'd like to see me do in the future, make sure to go ahead and leave those in the comments below, because as we know, comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. Goodbye!